I got told by, was it by Micah?
Uh-oh.
That the arm is flying?
Deb.
Done, I've been at lunch.
Oh, is it Jonah?
My head hurts like a little.
Why do you say that?
Is it Jonah and Taylor business class?
Ricky!
Jonah and business class? Jonah White. Business class? Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
did you
Had
eat?
something in there. I think I
Oh, yeah.
got a expansion.
You're right.
Big redhead.
I know what you
Print the revs
And he's larger.
adapters.
That's
I need to
why I
print
said the
each
bigger
servo today.
Okay, I'm not gonna be there.
My head hurts.
Look at CSI.
Wait, I don't have
I think I have allergies.
Yeah, no, I'm
My dog is allergic to cats.
I never get fall allergies. Yes, same. Like it's so bad.
Ow, what you got in your right? Oh.
This is my gun.
But the Astro prints are also.
Where's Becky?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go scream Becky's name in the hallway.
That my soul is broken.
He's a holder.
So.
Is Toby even here?
Yeah, we're missing a few suction today.
Oh my god, Jonah White's
Why
at
don't
class.
we fix them?
What? I had no idea.
Tanya.
Come on down.
Okay, Jake, you know when you feel
He
like
even used binder.
We're only them up together.
you know when you feel like you have a splinter, but
This is heresy.
Tanya, I got that stretch my arms right now.
This is illegal.
Is that your smile?
Stop it. I know we're doing that day.
Micah, you
Oh,
were
we have to
on
sit.
a
I was
logarithm.
wearing my stuff taking
When I get an asthma attack.
No, that's not. No, I'm about that part.
The person that looks the most like what they actually look like in real life.
No, I'm just about when that happens to you, I'm
Oh no, I come on, go.
It's close enough to my.
Where was it?
I don't know, but I found it in my backpack.
No, that looks exactly like the top.
Wait, where's Becky?
Oh, Santa actually got seats taken by Becky.
I tried to warn
No, but we're supposed to
I
be in our
have to
group.
sit with my group.
Oh, yeah.
You can take the camera.
Which means Jonah White sucks in the play.
Oh, looks like you're not in our group.
Oh, yeah, but I'm in that group.
Yeah.
Sit over there.
No, that's it.
Yeah,
Sit here.
Big, what do you got?
I was at the last game and I watched the Red Sox game. Well,
At the Sox game, they had the Pats up on the Green Monster.
Thank you. I'll save it. You can take one.
Okay. How are you guys doing today?
I
Surviving,
want to see this funny movie.
surviving Monday?
No, I know. My head hurts so much.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I
we
went to
almost
the.
did. We have something fun to do.
I went to the.
Why is it
Saturday
hurting?
night.
You get it?
I went to Red Sox on Saturday night where they lost. And then the Patriots lost. And I was just, I didn't.
I don't know how to pee in urinals.
So,
Wait, which one's that?
No.
Oh my god!
No one gets the joke.
No, boys get it.
With my
You can't do that.
so, yeah.
I literally just started.
Can you what? Yeah, you want to ring the bell today?
That's easy.
So, I'm sure we're all feeling a little bit put out at the end of Monday.
2 minutes.
It's a long, yeah, let's go for a couple minutes today.
Yes.
It's the end of a long, great day. So I'd like you guys to close your laptops. If you have any phones out, put them away, put them on silent. And we're going to do, at Tanya's suggestion, we're going to do 2 minutes of silence today. We're going to do 2. Just to make sure we have
Jonah White's out, come sit with us.
Alright.
Hey, Jonah, come in. Grab yourself a seat.
Exceptionally, that wasn't me.
Okay, so we're about to start our moment of silence. So Jonah and Jody, you guys just came in. Just grab yourselves a seat anywhere for now, and we'll get started.
I'm going to the bathroom now. 2 minutes silence.
Can you wait 2 minutes, or is it like really desperate?
No, I just like don't want to waste time. But it's fine.
Okay, if you can hold it for 2 minutes, let's just give it a go. Okay, Natanya, whenever you're ready. 2 minutes feels really good for that for some reason.
Yeah, it does.
Feels like we get farther.
So
A lot
short.
farther. Alright, so for starters today, I'd like you guys to open up your notes, or OneNote, or wherever it is you're taking your notes, and we're going to get started with the warm-up question. So this is one for you to answer by yourselves. So we're going to do silent writing for maybe 2-3 minutes for this, maybe a little more if you feel like.
Is there a page that you see?
Yeah, so you should see a page for 10:15 if you're doing your notes on OneNote.
I see you.
Here's the question for today. I want you to take a couple minutes to think about this question of where does your shirt come from?
My shirt.
And by that I mean like, you know, some store in the mall. Okay, great.
I know.
What I mean by this question is like thinking about what we need, like all the different steps, going all the way back to like where the resources come from. How many steps do you think you need to complete in order for this thing to get from? Excuse me. I know it's last period. Trust me, we're going to get through this together. Take a couple minutes and think about this question in terms of like where do the resources come from, the materials that make up your shirt, how does it get made, how does it get to the store, how does it get to your home. Just write as many steps as you can in bullet point form for the next couple minutes. Just think about where this thing comes from. Go ahead.
Nike's in Malaysia, right?
Nike's in a lot of places. I'm not sure where this is.
Where is this page?
You should see it on OneNote. It's the page for 10:15.
Like where on
Where on OneNote? Should be on OneNote under Unit 1. Yep, that's the one.
This is
If you're having issues with the page, just create a new untitled page. Bullet point as much as you can.
Where's my
Change it to a home page so you can get for like 10 minutes. You're looking cool.
Found it.
Oh. Is this a new style? Where'd you get
All the steps to the to a shirt.
Okay, if you guys aren't writing, you need to be writing right now.
All the steps.
Yeah. We need that ball. You're starting today? What materials?
Yeah, just go.
I'm just hanging out with Dave too much.
Where are we
It's
looking?
some conflict.
This should be on OneNote. This is on your page for 10:15.
Homework for 10:15?
Nope. That's the one.
What unit is this?
Unit 1.
Only one. We're already all the way to unit 4.
Can I look something up?
All the way to you.
What's that?
Can I look something up?
Just go with your
Your
names.
name's on top of it. Why is it like rude?
I also included like the design, and that's I was interested in that shirt because of it's on. That's part of what you put on. Sure. So like I don't know how it was made, but I just know. it's
Just
made.
fill it in as thoroughly as you can.
Okay. Oh, you already put. It's like the same.
Okay, go for about one more minute.
Oh.
Okay. Who'd like to share some of the stuff that they've come up with? Yeah, tell me, what do you have?
So I took take cotton from the cotton plant, and
Okay.
then shipped to a place where they make it spring it into spring.
Okay, so we need some kind of like yarn or something like that?
Yeah.
Then what?
And then it gets weaved into a shirt.
Okay, alright, so somehow we go magically from yarn to shirt. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about this staging here. So, if we're going with a cotton shirt, we need to get that material from somewhere, right? What actually goes into that process of getting the thing that we need, that raw material? Cody?
You have to, like someone or a machine, I don't know, has to pick the cotton and then it goes to a place and then you have to spin it before you can, like how it gets turned into string or yarn, whatever, it has to be spun.
So we need
Like,
spinning, and you said this is probably by machine, right?
yeah, it could be.
Okay.
By person.
What about the picking and harvesting? Machine or human hand?
Both?
Both.
Machine. And
Okay, what else? Let's fill out this process a little bit more. Yeah, so
To have the point where you can pick and harvest the cotton, you need to have like a person at like a farm. It's like you need a farm or something to be made, and then you need all the tools for the farm to be made. Like you need all the soil and stuff.
yeah, so we need a farm or a plantation or something like that to actually grow the stuff. We need to plant it too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what else? Let's keep going with this process. Lucia.
Well, after the shirt is made, it has to be shipped somewhere to be sold.
Yeah, okay, so now that we have the shirt, we gotta ship it somewhere, right?
Yeah, so
Where are we shipping it to?
I wrote that mine was shipped. Well, I guess maybe I skipped a step. It's probably shipped to the place that puts, like, do they put the design
Warehouse?
on the shirt in when they spin the yarn? Like, do they actually?
No. Probably not.
So it's probably shipped somewhere
So-
to be designed and then shipped to like stores.
Yeah, so there's this whole other question of actually designing the shirt in the first place,
Also warehouse.
right?
Yeah.
So probably some kind of company is buying either the shirt or the raw material, but somehow it has to get to the store, right? Which is where you come in. So let's back up a little bit. We have a farm or a plantation of some kind. We've planted the crop, we've grown it, we've picked it or harvested it using machine or human labor, maybe both. We've shipped it to some kind of a factory where it's spun using a machine. We come out with some kind of yarn or some other kind of product. That thing gets woven into a shirt. Shirt then goes to some kind of a company. Company sends it to a store. You go into the store, you buy it. That's how you wear it, exactly.
You don't wear it.
Or you don't wear it, yeah. Grandma gets you a really hideous shirt for the holidays. It goes into the very, very back of your dresser. You never wear it again. The reason why I wanted to open with this question, and if I can get you guys to close your laptops for now, we'll come back to them in a second. The reason why I opened with this question is because today we're kind of shifting gears a little bit. We've been spending a lot of time talking about the French Revolution. If you guys haven't closed your laptops yet, please do that now. We've been spending a lot of time talking about politics in this class, right? The political events in France, the French Revolution. Today we're kind of shifting gears to talk about something that's going on in Europe around the same time called the Industrial Revolution. And this is an event that is as kind of huge and transformative as the French Revolution. It's as big of a deal as that is, but just in different areas of life. And the reason why I asked this question for today in particular is because one way to think about what we're going to be talking about today for the rest of the class is this question of, first of all, where do we get our shirts, or where do we get our stuff? And is the way that we get our stuff worth it? And you'll see what I mean when we explore this a little
Worth
bit
it
further.
to what? Be cool?
Yeah, so to show you a little bit more what I mean by that, I have a source that I want you guys to read with your groups today. For today, you would watch that video talking about some of the big processes that's going on in the Industrial Revolution. But what this source does is it's something that gives us kind of a ground-eye view of what this thing actually looks like. So I have the source. I'm going to hand these out to the groups. And I'd like you to answer these together to the best of your abilities. You have a couple of guiding questions on here, but we'll take about 15 minutes for this. And then we'll come back together. Questions? Okay. I'll drop off a few over here.
Wait, are we writing down the
So for the answers for this, that's a great question. You can either write them on the sheet that I'm handing out, or you can type them into one of the other questions on there too.
What's our group again?
So for you guys, here are the groups. Okay, so you have about 15 minutes for this, then we'll bring it back in.
Oh yeah, they're all together.
Wait, is the text on the back?
Yeah, so here's the text.
It's on the back.
Hey, we're
I'll
You know,
do
I'm a problem.
I know, bro. Some said
Was that Alright.
Alright, I'll be with you. You'll be A.
He is really seven.
At what time
Can't win seven.
those girls go no?
I played again time.
During the stayed on at 3 o'clock in the morning and nearly half past 10.
What were the intervals allowed for rest or refreshment during those 19 hours of labor?
Breakfast for an hour, dinner half an hour, and drink a quarter of an hour.
And just in case you guys weren't sure, the source
Was
is on
any of
the
that time
backside.
taken up
And
in cleaning the machinery?
They generally have to do what they call a dry down.
All
At
reviews.
breakfast, you could drink
Okay.
No, they had not.
dinner or breakfast.
No, it's not.
It was
I can't
People
serve.
should read it.
Have you not weighed difficulty in awakening us?
Oh, you're pretty good.
In 1831 and 32, Parliament Act Textile Workers testified.
What was the length of time they could be in bed during those long hours?
nearly 11 o'clock.
Questioner, yes, member of Parliament, the responder is the textile workers. We're gonna go in the
And
hallway.
one morning, my wife used to
At what time you done?
Wait, can I do the questions? You do the answers?
Yes.
I want to respond. To be like,
So that
question. Question.
were the children successfully
Those girls,
received by the slave At what time in the morning?
Yeah, that's that.
What successive term of labor?
What intervals were allowed for rest or refreshment during those 19 hours of labor?
Thanks so very much for
20 hours. What intervals were allowed for rest of ale during
What were their wages?
breakfast?
Question.
Quarter of an hour.
Was any of that time taken up cleaning the machinery?
Answers.
Dinner they had was what they call dry rest. Sometimes it's like the whole private breakfast. They get their dinner or breakfast that they cook. If not, it was raw. And they were to get their dinner.
Question.
Long hours.
Have you not great difficulty in awakening your children to this excessive labor?
Okay, yes. In the
For
early
hot
time,
water.
No time.
yes, in the early time, we're going to see them up together, shake them, not the wrong
What was the length between they could be in bed during those long hours?
Question. What was the length of time they could be in bed during those long hours?
answered. It was nearly 11 o'clock at night.
18 cents
That
an hour.
after getting a little
So that
my wife stopped all night or here that we did not
What are you guys doing over here? You got the small screen.
Okay, so this was textiles.
anytime
Question. So that they have not above 4 hours sleep at this time?
No, they had
Do you guys know what that means? Like,
Question. Were the children excessively fatigued by this labor?
many times they've awfully bribed kids, giving them little.
yeah, like they're making clothes basically, like either cloth
You had to
or
give them, you had to shake them, and they had fallen asleep.
What's your guys' reaction?
In their mouths.
Question.
This is cruel.
Did this excessive term of labor or occasion much closely also?
Yes. Being so very straps and very frequent straps and leather use was punished.
Question. What were their wages?
3 shillings a day.
Do you guys feel like you understand like what you think some of the problems might
Oh,
be?
real funny. Michael.
Yeah, walk me through the episode.
You know this?
So
That's what I was located. White occasion. Only Mr. Food. No, Mr. Food. Whatever.
I know who that is because it's like they're talking about this.
Oh, they can't.
I used to be like that, and then I decided to watch the whole thing.
Well, how many hours is it?
There was 6 episodes. The one called basketball.
I just watched them.
Yeah, 19 hours a day.
I saw the best.
Are you going to school?
I got really tired of it.
You never get
I
old.
like the
Chop?
kids, but.
They're always different.
You like chop?
I'll try.
Yeah, but they're like goat brains.
Okay.
Make an appetizer out of goat brains and almond flour.
What do you
Okay,
got?
You're getting a little off track.
imagine you're a member of parliament. Basically, what if something listen to some of the workers. No problem. Do you notice the way the mills are run? I don't really see it.
Sleep deprivation. Wait, this is on one note, she said?
No, they get no break time. Very little. They're like,
besides the fact that
Where are you?
because you'll have more time to sleep, more time to eat. The hours will be shorter, and then when you don't make a lot of money, like you're not making a lot of money for working day, but if you
Yeah,
make
that other person's really good too. Yeah,
Their children.
Yeah, come on.
What's the score where you hit a ball?
no, I need to buy a new one.
And especially they were
Squash.
What's
What's the difference between squash and racquetball?
Yeah, there's like different sized courts, different sized baskets, different type of balls.
They were.
I bet one of them is just a regular version.
Yeah,
Racquetball. No, the squash probably
and
doesn't.
somehow cricket is in it, and either squash nor racquetball. It's like I
Racquetball
don't.
is pretty much like people play hockey without a tennis.
Yeah, like I don't think squash and racquetball should be in the Olympics, but if cricket is in there,
Cricket's pretty much
or not cricket, badminton.
No, isn't cricket like it's like baseball with like
I don't
a
think
flat
it is.
bat.
I meant
Yeah, or like, you know, how
I meant
now
badminton.
I think it was badminton, but it's badminton.
like that, it's like the
Sleep deprivation,
kind of sort of
little to no food.
handle things a lot better.
Yeah.
Are we a group of 5?
Yeah, I agree.
I said they got sleep deprivation, no break time, very little food and money, and they were punished and super sad.
Really?
What number?
Are you baiting us to tell you what the
We're
problem is?
gonna use the guillotine for better murdering.
I think the biggest problem is that there are too many hours regardless of the age. I mean, like,
The
you can't.
guillotine.
The guillotine.
That's my
I don't know.
preferred method.
4 hours.
Some murders.
For all.
It was because of you. Oh yeah, I have one.
I love it so much.
Bagels have heads?
Okay.
No,
Keep storing
Every hour.
My cousins have one, but it doesn't work. It just crushes the bagel. It doesn't cut it.
Yeah, we just.
That's the brain for the real too. Long-term criminal breaks back
Little money, little food, little money, big punishment. Oh, and I wrote, the solution is more money and
Any breaks.
And that's,
Did you have a chance to think through like Let's see here.
Oh yeah, give them a break. Give them one.
A livable minimum hourly wage.
Or breaks food.
Or slash.
Yeah, they should be got it as like
meetings.
What about you?
Disaster.
Oh, here it is. It's just a giant, the node.
Alright, so it sounds like most of the groups are wrapping up. Take another minute or two and then we'll bring it back in. Yeah.
What is the times they have break?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not gonna be
Break.
Um,
Per day.
yeah, what do you guys think? Is
They
this?
got 15 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're not drinking ample quarter of the
there you go.
Yeah, good idea. Just
Yeah,
shrug. Healthiest
do you guys notice? Do you guys know what they're drinking? Yeah, do you guys know what ale is?
It's alcohol.
Oh yeah.
It's basically
More food.
yeah.
Breaks food.
15 minutes.
Ginger ale is just a regular ale, but with ginger and alcohol.
Are you kidding?
That's pretty much it. We'll up to that one.
Pretty much because
I said give them breaks food and drinking water, not alcohol.
Maybe I do.
Can I ask you about that?
Yes.
So bad.
It's so good.
You can share with me.
It's just carbonated water. No, but there's like no flavor.
The essence. It's different things. We got lime, we got raspberry.
Yeah, but it's like a hint of that and then a bunch of fizzy
All
stuff.
that matters is lemon and lime, if you ask me.
Oh, I like raspberry.
What's your favorite brand?
Yeah, but where are you?
Polar.
Like, I like LaCroix too, but apparently they have like.
Okay, so it seems like we're pretty much wrapped up now. So let's get back in. So I'm curious what your guys' reaction was to the text.
It's like not right.
Not very.
Not very nice. Tell me more.
Not nice though.
People running the factories are not very nice because they're giving them like no time and like assaulting them basically if they're not working like actually.
Sorry, that's not.
Oh yeah.
And they're making no money.
Yeah.
They're basically making wait.
Physically.
Yeah, okay, so one of the things that I asked you guys in the question,
Like a third of $1 an hour.
yeah, one of the guiding questions that I asked you was about problems that we see. Let's maybe get a list of these going. Seb, you just mentioned a couple. Can you read those back one more time for me?
Yeah. So the problems, they don't make enough money. They have really bad conditions. They have no break time, and they're like attacked if they don't work hard enough.
Lightning Blow averaged over $1 million per catch on the
Okay.
second half.
Let's dig into some of the specifics there. I think that's a pretty good list to start us off. Does anyone want to jump in? Yeah.
Another issue is that they're children. It's not like kids.
Yeah, we have this child labor thing going on here. Anything else? Yeah, Alicia.
Oh, actually none of my punishments covers what I was gonna say.
Okay. For starters,
I was gonna say like physical abuse. That's part of the punishments.
sure. It's important to note that the punishments are, physical. What do they do specifically?
Whip them with leather belts.
Yeah, the strap, right?
Yeah.
Better than the buckle.
Could be.
No, it is. The buckle's metal.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a great way to see it.
Also, for like drinks, they're giving them alcohol.
Look at the black hat.
Yeah, okay, so we noticed that we have actually a few breaks during the day, but one of those is for ale. So our children who are working in the factories are getting an ale break.
15 straight minutes of alcohol to numb the pain. Right?
Maybe. That could be one reason for it. Mia, you had mentioned that you knew a little bit of why they might be serving ale in the factory.
I don't know that much, but I read that alcohol drinks like beer were safer than drinking water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's cheaper.
I'm not sure if it's cheaper or not, but it's certainly safer a lot of the time to drink alcohol than it is to drink water. And ale happens to be like kind of a weaker. What's that?
Why?
It kills the bacteria.
Yeah, during the fermentation it kills the bacteria. And if we're thinking about like this being by a factory, you know, the water is probably kind of contaminated. So yeah, absolutely. So we have ale breaks for our child laborers.
This
Yeah,
is sort of in tandem with the wages. The total hourly rate for the week was just over 18 cents an hour after inflation.
Okay. Yeah.
Not too bad.
This I think goes a little bit under child labor and breaks maybe conditions. I don't know, but they get like 3 hours of sleep every night, and if you're like 12 and you get 3 hours of sleep every night, like literally every day of the year, your health is going to be really bad, and it's going to stunt your growth among other things if you're a growing kid. So that's a huge issue.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so we have this issue of hours. How many hours are these kids actually working a day?
19.
Okay, 19-hour days.
Oh, wait. No way.
Okay, can I get you guys to face around actually, just so we're all facing together? Thank you. Okay, let's talk a little bit now about why we think these are actually problems. Sounds like kind of a weird question in some ways, because we look at something like young children working 19 hours a day in a factory, being beaten if they don't work, and we think, of course, this is a problem. But what does it tell us about the people who are running the mills, or just society in general at the time that this is the situation that they're kind of working with? What do you guys think? Graham?
Wanted cheap labor done quickly.
Sure, but I'm sure we would like also, you know, to have relatively inexpensive labor today, right? Like we want to have our goods produced and be nice and cheap, and maybe we would support, you know, a minimum wage that's perhaps not super high, and we can make that happen, right? Could you conceivably see that kind of happening today?
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit different.
Okay, tell me. Let's try to expound on this a little bit. What do you think it tells us about Great Britain in the 1830s, that this is kind of the way things are going? Yeah. Owen?
That's probably pretty poor.
What makes you say that?
Well, if they have to rely on child labor and cheap child labor to sort of power their factories, then I think you're not doing super well. Plus, I think it says that they don't place very much emphasis on education.
Okay. So, start thinking a little bit about why this is happening in the first place, right? So, desire for cheap labor could definitely be part of it. Oh, and how would you kind of condense this into a couple words if you wanted to?
I guess that, which one?
So you were saying something about like poverty or something like that?
Yeah. Poverty in the country has led to a need for children to work, or poverty equals child labor, I guess.
Okay. Could be connected to this as well, right? If we're looking for a source of cheap labor, then we can perhaps pay children less than adults. Okay, here's another question for you. Why do you think nothing's been done about this at this point? It's the 1830s. They've been a few decades into this process. They've been building factories for a while. Why is this just not coming to light? What do you think, Michael?
Because I doesn't come to light because like people probably need the money, and so if they like start going to the government, like look at this, what's going on, then like if the government shuts it down, then they no longer have income.
Okay. So, walk me through what you're saying one more time. I'm not quite sure.
So like the reason this didn't come to light sooner was because like if these families have like children working to bring in money, then if they go to the government to shut it down, they'll no longer have their kids working. They won't have that money.
Sure.
So
So
it's poverty.
regulation might hurt, right?
Yeah.
If their bottom line is depending on these cheap workers, it could go out of business if they lose that source of labor. Yeah, that's all.
Can I go to the bathroom after Joe?
Sure.
Or can I go now?
Yeah. Okay, so the second thing I asked you to think about was try to come up with some solutions to this. Which one should we set out to solve here?
I think child labor is
Okay,
definitely one we should set out to solve.
great. Let's think about this issue of child labor. So, solutions.
Well, I kind of wrote get machines to do it because I was looking ahead.
Yeah, sure. If we can take all the labor that's being performed by children and replace it with machines, that would perhaps, we might get some other problems from that, but that might be one
Yeah. That would definitely be a start.
one possibility. Yeah, what else? What else did you guys come up with? Yeah, so,
I thought that a lot of these could be solved with like workers' unions.
okay, tell me more about that. What actually is a union in the first place?
I'm not sure about everything, but I think the concept is that by like people in one industry like kind of band together in a union so that if something bad, like if one place is practicing really badly, they can like band together and do something against it so that you don't have the issue Owen was talking about where they don't have an income because the company is forced to make change because they'll all like stop working.
Yeah, so it's basically when a bunch of workers get together to try to bargain, do what they call collective bargaining, basically just bargaining with their employer as a unit. Okay, that might help. What else? Yeah, any other solutions? Owen? Yeah, do you guys all like drink gallons of water before you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, Natanya.
Honestly, I drink towel water, but
Like, sort of like the unions will like stop, like feed them if you're gonna have them, like nourish them, like the kids well, like not feed them alcohol and like have no sleep, like maybe help them like get more food and have the conditions be more bearable.
So that's interesting. You're saying keep the system the way it is.
No, I'm not saying
but
keep it, but like if there's no other choice, then to at least improve the conditions of the workers would be better than not doing anything.
So basically like nicer child labor? Or
Yeah.
I'm serious, like, yeah, okay.
Like if changing the whole system isn't an option, then at least switching something.
Yeah, you guys are missing one really straightforward solution, don't you?
Like maybe don't use kids. Well, like you can't just like say like to fix child labor, don't use kids, but like not really young kids. And also like more sleep, just change the hours a little bit. Like no one has to work 19 hours a day. Like I don't know. I think that maybe they could make them work less hours and also not use really young kids.
Yeah, so one thing you suggested at the beginning is like, let's just ban it. Let's get rid of child labor. Ban it.
You ban it.
What's that?
You ban
Okay, so what we have here are a bunch of different solutions that, can I get you guys to close your laptops for a second? We're just gonna go for another 5 minutes, so I know we can do it. Okay, what we have here are a bunch of solutions to this problem that we've all kind of identified in the text, that come from different places, right? The factory owners are doing this, potentially, right? They could be using machines to replace the children that are working in the factories. Here's a solution that comes from the workers, right? They form unions. Here's a solution that comes from the government. They could just ban the thing altogether. Here's another one that comes from the people running the factories, right? We could reform the way child labor actually works, what it looks like. Cool. Yeah, Marion.
When did compulsory education become a thing?
Oh boy, I actually don't know the exact date for that.
Okay.
It is in the 19th century, but I don't know what year.
Is it near this time or is it a little bit?
I think it's a little further down the road.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So what you're reading tonight is a source by a guy named Louis Blanc. I'm not going to tell you that much about him right now, but basically he's someone who's writing during this time period, who's grappling with exactly the same kind of problems that you are grappling with when you're reading the text today. So he's a guy who's reading or learning about industrialization, seeing what's going on in the world around him, and he thinks he has an answer. And you're going to be exploring that answer in your homework tonight. So thank you guys very much, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Why are you going? Where are you going? Why are you staying? Oh, they're the only
So yes.
Just sit, like Orly said, nonsense.
Probably a partner.
That's not
So I use
yeah,
Silencio. I know. Here, you told me.
Wait, this weekend?
This weekend.
Oh, so I'm going to Newton this weekend.
It would be next week.
Why
Oh,
are you
we
going?
need to do
Why are you going to Englewood?
to see your cousin's one, so. And then I'm sleeping at a girl at Bridget's house.
Orly?
No, I wish Orly. It's like some weirdo.
Why would you?
I'm not like by choice, like my family's sleeping.
Ask Orly. She's real. I know.
She doesn't live in Englewood, she lives in New York.
I know, but she goes to Chris.
Alright, shall I sleep over? How sick? Does Laura live in New York?
Well, that's in New Jersey.
So, let's set up a time that you and I can